This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With the all-new Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from good to excellent. Introducing the new Sleep Score on Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Spin Shuffle Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. We are smack dab in the middle of our Marvel Cinematic Universe Avengers albums, MCU actors who have released a full-length disc. And we have to go with the very first actor to be a hero in the MCU. We're talking about Robert Downey Jr. and his one and only album, The Futurist. And here to join me in the present, Lyle Robichaud is back on the show. Lyle, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Jason. This has been such a fun ride so far. Can't wait to keep this going through. And we have a doozy. We have a doozy here with this one.
I find this album ironic because this album came out 4 years before Robert Downey Jr. became Tony Stark, Iron Man. And we all know Tony Stark is a futurist. Yeah, here he is with an album called The Futurist 4 years before he plays The Futurist. What did Robert Downey Jr. know and when did he know it?
The thing is, the reason he's such a good Tony Stark, because Robert Downey Jr. once lived like Tony Stark.
Right.
Right down to the demons. Larger than life, I can do no wrong. You know, my doesn't stink. Look at me. I'm so-and-so. And man, does this album reek of that a little bit. Look how artistic I am, father. That's how it feels like to me. This feels like a guy that's like, this is a side quest at the time for him. This is back when things were still a little bit crazy for him. Again, it was before, the MCU came and really finished his redemption arc, we'll say.
Well, I mean, remember too that at the time, it was considered risky to put Robert Downey Jr. in as Iron Man because he had such a
spotty past, we'll say.
I was going to say colorful, so.
Well, yeah, there's so many jokes I could make. Yeah, he had unfortunately battled some serious demons, but thankfully, this is one of those cases where we can talk about this in retrospect because he has completed the redemption arc. Iron Man was obviously a massive success. It spawned 20 years of a tonal change in the way movies are made. It brought superhero movies in the way that Western movies were brought in back in the day. And all of a sudden, every second movie is a superhero movie because they're printing so much money. Took the groundwork that Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy laid and built a mansion on it. So thankfully, all the times that I will joke about Robert Downey Jr. in this episode, I'm happy to say that it's all because he's doing so good now that this stuff is a distant, unfortunate memory about his career.
Yeah, let's just paint a picture too of Robert Downey Jr.'s career at this point. So this album came out in 2004. In 2003, he had starred in a short film called Whatever We Do. He was in The Singing Detective. He was in Gothica. And then in 2004, he was in an anthology film called Eros. So this is, it's a dry stretch for his films, even though he is still acting. we're 4 years away from his role in Wonder Boys in 2000. That actually got some decent acclaim. There are some good films around that time. And then like coming out after it, the next year, he's in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So that gets a lot more attention. He was in Good Night and Good Luck, which is a fantastic film.
So's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Right.
I really like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's a great show.
And the year after that, he's in A Scanner Darkly. So there are good films coming up. So we have a little musical detour in 2004. Let me paint a picture here for the album. Released November 23rd of 2004, hit number 121 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the U.S. Heat Seekers chart. So technically, it's a number 1 album. He had one single off of this. Man Like Me hit number 39 on the Billboard Adult Contemporary charts. Yeah, this album is very, very jazzy, if you will. Very, small jazz dive bar. The kind of bar that Ryan Gosling would appear in La La Land.
Exactly what I was thinking. I put that this is Robert Downey Jr.'s Troy McClure album from The Simpsons. Hi, I'm Robert Downey Jr. You might remember me from such films as so-and-so. Do you like jazz? And then he just starts playing an off-screen piano. Like, that's what this reminds me of. I'm going to take the piss on this one a little bit because, again, it does. Even the album cover, him with his, like, head in his hand, it's very, like, I'm a poet. Like, it's a little cringe, I won't lie.
Now, this, by the way, does have some really fantastic players, though. John Anderson from Yes appears on this. Greg Bissonette, who played drums for David Lee Roth, Joe Satriani, and Steve Vai, and Chad Wackerman, who actually played with Frank Zappa, are all on this disc on various tracks. So there's some musical muscle backing him on this. Yeah.
There's some accompaniment for sure.
All right. So presently, we're going to talk about the Futurist, and I'm going to hand it over to you for your spin pick.
My spin pick, again, it's really funny how this was called the Futurist, and then he goes on to play Tony Stark. One of the bigger crazy, wow, does art ever imitate life that imitates art? Again, in a weird full circle moment. Your move / give peace a chance is my spin off of this. And I think it's funny because Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., talks about peace constantly through all the movie he's in. And he even says give peace a chance more than once. And during the first big speech he gives in the first movie about his Jericho bomb and everything, when he's taking the picture with the soldier, it's, hey, for peace. So I thought it was really ironic that the best song on this album does involve giving peace a chance. And he talks about that so much in his movies. It's the best of the bunch, but it isn't saying a whole lot because a lot of the other stuff is like, whoa, this is really trying to be coffee house here. But I did like this one. This one felt kind of John Mayer-ish. So I put it up there for that.
By the way, keep in mind, too, that aside from 2 tracks on this 10-song album, they're all written or co-written by Robert Downey Jr. himself. Yeah. So credit where credit is due. He's actually got some songwriting muscle in there as well.
Yep. He's an accomplished writer because he also had a lot to do with the movie The Judge, writing the movie he was in. And that was a good movie as well. So note that he is a multi-talented man. I just don't know if anytime soon he's going to go back and go, we need to put out another album like The Futurist.
Well, it's funny because apparently he had talked about this album and he said he wasn't going to do another one because, the return on investment, as he kind of put it, was just not there. And I don't even think that's as far as a financial thing, because let's be honest, if he wanted to do an album tomorrow, he could. Like, there's no question. But the thing is,
I don't think he's hurting for money in the tax bracket he currently sits in.
But I think it's more of a reception based kind of thing where it's like you put this out there and no one listens to it.
It's true, but I always kind of like that about him, that he does take big swings on projects.
Right.
He's made some very interesting things other than Iron Man, including that entire documentary he made about his father.
Yes.
Which is really good, but also very off the beaten trail from his usual stuff, and it gets really serious. And so there is an artist in there.
Oh yeah.
He's not your typical, Dwayne Johnson blockbuster actor that shows up, puts his hands on his hips, and say the line, Bart, and then moves on. He does put a lot of soul into most of his projects.
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter if no one listened to the album. We're listening to it. By the way, if someone put it, if an artist puts something out there into the world and doesn't listen to it, Well, now you know how this podcast feels.
We are artists. What do you mean?
As we definitely are artists. All right.
And technically, if you, people do listen to this. Plenty of my friends listen to this. And also, if nobody does, that puts us in the same category as Robert Downey Jr. So I'm thinking we're winning either way.
I love that way of thinking. Done. We are futurists ourselves.
Yes.
My spin pick actually leans into his lyrical writing. I'm going with Kimberly Glide. This feels almost kind of like a short story into itself, but this song got me. This song got me, not necessarily on a lyrical standpoint, though. Let me introduce you to High School Jay. I learned to play bass on an upright in orchestra class. So the minute the upright bass starts going for a walk on this song, instantly I'm drawn back to those early days of learning how to play a 4-string on an upright. And it's just so good. The bassist on this album danced on that upright. And on a song like this, where you have those moments where the bass is just like, I'm gonna put a collar on you. We're gonna go for a walk. It'll be a nice walk. You'll have fun. It'll be all good. That's what Kimberly Glide is for me. This is that jazz walking bass tasty dish.
I just want to say, first and foremost, you learning how to play bass on an upright in music class is so on brand. It's not even funny. It's so on brand. I love that that's a true fact. But you're right. No, that's of that song. That's probably the best part of it's the bass line.
So this is where I mentioned that I skipped many a high school class and just hung out in the music room.
You would be one of my mom's favorite students. She's a music teacher. So that's her tribe. That's her family.
See, I wasn't cool. I skipped class and I didn't go out and hang out and like smoke cigarettes. No, I went into the music room and I know my music teacher had to know. He had to know because I spent way more time there than I probably should have. But at least I was doing something productive.
School is dead. We all know that.
Look at Robert Downey Jr. He put out a jazz album that no one listened to.
It's true.
When I'm prepping an upcoming episode on, say, Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti, I don't want to just hear that record. I want to feel it. And that's what the Andover Spin Duo delivers. It's a complete system. Turntable, plus the Spin Bass 2 speaker, real hi-fi components, not lo-fi junk. Just add your favorite album and the room comes alive. And the Spin Bass 2 is versatile. It works with your TV, CD player, or even Bluetooth streaming in and out. And yes, it comes with a remote. Already spinning? Well, step it up to the Spin Bass Max 2. Or if you've got ears like mine from years of digging, the Andover One audiophile system is the high altar your records deserve. Pantheon listeners, get 15% off at andoveraudio.com/Pantheon. That's andoveraudio.com/Pantheon. So whether it's Zeppelin, Joni, or Coltrane, your records deserve better.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault, a new series streaming now only on Peacock.
For my shuffle pick, I'm going with Details. And again, this is another one of those ones that kind of sits in that cinematic quality vibe as far as the writing goes. Very similar to Kimberly Glide. This is that smoky jazz bar with Ryan Gosling all excited about what's being played up on the stage. And the fact that you have the piano and the vocals almost combining to be dual lead instruments in this, there's a lot of detail and layering in this song that I don't think gets the notice that it should.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You know what's funny? I'm just making this realization of all these albums by actors we've covered. It's funny how a lot of them do take a cinematic quality on.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either, but it's almost like they take from that other form of art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to make it almost so you can visualize it. It's not your standard affair. There's always something a little bit experimental or a cinematic quality to it. And it's funny how that works, isn't it? That bleeds through.
Well, I mean, even when we were talking about the Scarlett Johansson album 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about Anywhere I Lay My Head, and even though that was a Tom Waits tribute album per se, there was the one song on there, Song for Joe, and I felt that song did have a cinematic quality to it.
Yeah, and it's true. I think that whole album was cinematic in its own way. I mean, Midsummer was cinematic too, but that was irreputably strange as well. But yeah, I just find it so funny how the art bleeds over, and you almost can't take the dog out of the fight kind of thing, or whatever that saying goes. There's just certain things you can't take out of somebody's DNA. So when one of these people go over and make an album, the cinematic quality is going to come over with them, whether they want it to or not.
Well, also when you think about it too, and I mean, I know this is how I am. I don't know if this is how you are, when it comes to just listening to music when you're not listening to it to prepare for a podcast episode, where you just kind of sit down, you put the headphones on, you close your eyes, and instantly visuals come to mind. This is why I always wanted to direct music videos, and I've had a chance to direct a couple of them, which is kind of nice. But to be able to just close your eyes and just envision the music. I wonder if some of these actors who put albums out mid-career, like there are some singers who then became actors, and we're going to talk about one of those eventually, where it's like, okay, your job is to visualize things. Your job is to paint pictures. Whatever inspires you to do that, music, I'm sure, is probably at the root of a lot of it.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the reason playlists exist, right? You're not going to play the same songs you're listening to while you're working out as the same songs you're playing when you're on a quiet drive in your vehicle at night, because the visuals and the vibe doesn't match that. It's like I'm not listening to Thunderstruck when I'm driving home at 9 p.m. after work. That's a gym song, but I am going to be listening to like a slow jam by the Black Keys or something like that in those moments. So it's funny how it's all relative, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it, right? Some people have playlists for everything in their life.
I'm some people.
All right. Well, what's your shuffle pick there, some people?
My shuffle, I went with something a little bit more personal because it was a song that I was like, oh my goodness, this hits the bases in every way. It's Hannah.
Okay.
The reason being, my best friend back home's name is Hannah. And the song is about missing somebody far away that's named Hannah. So I was like, wow, this one hit right in the chest out of nowhere, because I do miss, obviously, all of my friends a whole lot. She's also the only person that I speak to on music and movies more than I speak to you about them. So to do it, like, just those kind of worlds colliding of me just immediately being struck by, like, I should text her right now. And I did. And I was like, you're never going to believe what I'm doing. Doing an episode of Jason's podcast on a Robert Downey Jr. album, and there's a song on it about you. So it's very funny to me. So that's why Hannah's my shuffle pick. It's more for personal reasons, and I know she's going to listen to it. So what's up, Hannah?
I was about to say, did she go and listen to the song afterwards?
I probably, because as soon as I said Robert Downey Jr. did an album, she was like, I have to. She's like us. Her brain works the same as ours do. So.
Oh, I feel so sorry for her. Hannah, I'm so sorry. All right. So now we're down to the bottom here. What's your skip pick from the Futurist?
My skip pick from the Futurist is actually Details.
Really?
I can't understand what he's saying half the time, because he doesn't know if he wants to whisper or not.
I mean, there are certain vocal affectations, right? I don't know if Robert Downey Jr. is a strong belt out kind of singer, right? But it takes a lot in order to be able to sing quietly, right? So anyone who sits there and disses anything that Billie Eilish does with the whole whisper singing thing, give the girl credit. It's hard to whisper sing.
I'm not saying that's a bad method of singing whatsoever. I love Billie Eilish, but it just doesn't work for this, I don't think, especially in a song that has the kind of tempo. I don't know. It didn't resonate with me. And he kept going from like a regular singing voice to bringing it all the way down to a whisper. Again, it just felt like it's trying to be artsy, but it's not hitting the mark. If he had just whisper sang, probably would have been great.
Yeah. And then I guess too, with the tenor of his voice, whisper singing might not necessarily be the way to go.
Exactly. I also love how you defended that out of the gate like a government speech. We are aware of certain vocal affectations. Like when I'm like, he doesn't know if he wants to whisper, you went immediately to diplomacy. Like, we are aware Mr. Downey Jr. has vocal affectations on this song. However, but it's true. If he'd have gone all whispers, probably would have been fine. But it was the switching back and forth. I was just like, you're losing me, man.
Musical spin doctor. That's what I'll be right over here. All right. So for my skip pick, and it's funny we're talking about vocal affectations. And we talked a little bit about this with Jeremy Renner's EP, The Medicine. And I mentioned that his voice took on almost a Jacoby Shaddix kind of tenor to his singing. With the song Broken, I'm not quite sure where Robert Downey Jr. was aiming vocally. Because at points in this song, and for the record, the song also feels like slightly disjointed. Like, I like weird, trippy time signatures and all that, and I found myself getting tripped up with this song. But vocally, I don't know if he was going for Springsteen or Peter Gabriel on this.
Yeah, it was on my short list for skip as well. And I never made the Springsteen thing, but I did say Peter Gabriel-esque, but not quite to the point of Peter Gabriel. Whoever could get there anyway. But yeah, no, saying I was definitely on my skip list. I had a long honorable mention skip list.
I mean, older Peter Gabriel does sound a little bit like what this would be. You know, you listen to a song with the Book of Love, that kind of fits into this vibe. You know, let's be honest. So and Us, era Peter Gabriel are fantastic. Like, those are the best songs of his career and really of many people's careers. Like, those are so good. But I just don't know what he was. It's almost like he was trying to drive two different lanes with the song, both musically and vocally as well.
Yeah, trying too many things at once. Because I think going into this, when you're an actor, you're probably thinking this might be my only chance at this. So anything that you want to get in there, you're getting it in there, right? Because you're not quite sure if you're going to have a second or third shot at this. You got your Jeremy Renners or do 2 or 3, but a lot of actors that start out as actors and do this, they do the one. They only get the one. A lot of these, we only see the one. So it makes sense that if you have the idea, you're putting it on there. Like, however experimental it is, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, kind of plan of attack, I guess.
You know, and in defense of some of these actors, and you know, let's be very, very honest, right? Most bands and singers and songwriters road test their songs before they actually bring them into the studio, or they've been on the road enough that they know what's going to hit with their audience, right?
They have their sound. They know what sells. They know the formula. They just need to change the ingredients a little bit. More of this, less of that, yada, yada. You're 100% right. And I think road testing is one of the most tried and true ways to test out a single. Play it at a show. See what the people think.
Yeah.
Because you could still think it's the best thing going, and then you get out there, play it in front, dud.
Yep. The Jeremy Renner EP felt almost a little road tested because those songs felt tight.
Yeah. It seemed like there was a lot of kind of power put behind them. But it's kind of a catch-22 because I do think there is a point where you're not going to know until you get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a variable. There's always a roll of the D20 in there just to see where it stands. Because you can have songs that the artist thinks are going to be a slam dunk. If you're an AC/DC fan, when they released Fly on the Wall, they road tested Danger off of that album for like a year, thinking it was going to be this huge single, and nobody's ever heard of it because it did terrible during those road tests.
Well, you know what they say, right? You have your entire life to write your first album. And for most of these people, these are the first album.
First album, yeah.
All right. So, Lau, remind us what your spin, shuffle, and skip picks are from Robert Downey Jr.'s The Futurist.
My spin was Your Move / Give Peace a Chance. My shuffle was Hannah, and my skip was Details.
All right. For me, my spin was Kimberly Glide. My shuffle was Details. And my skip was Broken. Lyle, thank you so much for this. And Hannah, thank you for responding to his text. Let us know, or let our listeners know, where they can find you out there on the interwebs.
I still work for Anthem Sports and Entertainment. I'm working on TNA Wrestling. So if you like good wrestling, there's no better time to watch TNA on Thursday nights.
All right, dear listeners. Until next time, you guys know the drill. If there is an album that you want us to cover on Spin, Shuffle, Skip, or an artist that you want us to cover on There Can Only Be One, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadcast or go to our website at NotThatBadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our merch section because anything you buy from there goes to help us make this show. Until next time, he's Lyle, I'm Jay, you guys are awesome. This is Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.